Hello, this is Victor, and in the next video I want to talk about how much we spend per point. What I mean here, I have seen that in a lot of forums or in some places we say, oh, this miniature is more expensive than this other, or the miniatures are. So what I want to show here is I just calculate the how much we pay per point on different miniatures from Games Workshop. Have to say that in the next table that I will share it to you, this is based on the cost from Games Workshop. I don't take into account any discounts. I don't take into account if you buy it in second hand. I don't take into account if you buy in any other channel that is cheaper. I just went to the Games Workshop website. I take the price. I calculate the points of the unit they are selling, and I divide this by the price, and then I have the points. The cost per point. How much we pay per point, and that way we can compare if one miniature is more expensive than the other. Because sometimes we say, okay, this miniature is more expensive than this one, yeah, but in the battlefield, this miniature is also have more point value, so you need less to have the same type of points. So I was for me it was interesting to see when a miniature is more expensive than the other based on the points that miniatures cost in the game. That way we have the cost per point of different miniatures. I just take some random miniatures, and to be fair with you, I'm using miniatures that I'm more familiar with and that I use in my armies or I will use in my armies. So I'm just wanted to check some miniatures that I'm familiar. And when I calculate the points, I calculate normal war gear. So I don't go for crazy war gear that will make the unit very costly. So I just calculate, for example, if you take tactical marine, I calculate that I put a heavy weapon, I put a special weapon, and maybe some equipment on the sergeant, just to have some idea of the cost. So this will not make, if it's 10 points up and down, it will not make a big difference in the calculation that you will see. But I wanted to add some equipment to make the comparison more fair. So then let's go to the table and see what we can find there. So this is the table. So in the first column you will see the name of the unit. In the second column you see the cost in the Games Workshop website, then the points of this unit, and the euros, so the cost in euros, and then the euro per point that you are paying. Okay, and for me what is interesting to see is that the most expensive unit that I found is the Rhino. So you pay 29 euros for 35 points. This is making an average of 0.83 euros per point. The cheapest that I found there is the Chaos Faith Weaver. The Chaos Faith Weaver, you pay 50 points for 50 euros for 300 points, making an average of 0.17. You see two things in red. The two lines in red are some of these promotion packs or big packs from Games Workshop that you can have cheaper or better prices. You see, for example, the Dark Angels Vengeance expansion. It's a very nice opportunity. The cost is per point is 0.19. The Katachan Defense Force, if you compare this to 10 Imperial Guardians, you see that is also worth it. So the cost, what you pay per point, is lower. Imperial Knight, I wanted to put this in bold because normally it's a unit that people consider very expensive. So if you see, it's very in the average. We are paying 0.29 euros per point of this unit. So if you see 110 euros, that is the cost, and then the points in the battlefield is 375, can be 365. It's around that. Will not change a lot the average. It's around 0.3 euros per point at the end. You see, this is comparable to the Cavalid with the Escape Splinter. This is the pack that you have the Cavalid Warriors plus the Rider. Is is compatible to the Wave Serpent and is comparable to the Ravenwing Squadron. Units that are another unit that is quite expensive and people is using a lot is the Venom. Venom, if you calculate how much you pay for the points that you receive, is around 0.38. The same for the Wraith Knight. So I just want to put this table here together. And what is very cheap compared what you pay for the points that you receive is the Baneblade, the tactical squad. Even the Plague Bearers are quite good. So what I want to share here, what I did that, I want to know when we say if a unit is expensive based on what? For me, it's expensive more or less if you are looking just for a competitive point of view or for points point of view, you should take it into account the points. For me, there are much more other things that you have to take into account. For me, the school that is nice to paint, that enjoyment this is not taken into account here, and I think it's an important factor that you have also to take into account when you're painting. So this just was a curiosity that I want to share with you. I hope you find it interesting. I don't know if this is the results that you were expecting on the cost, and if you have any other unit, make the calculation. It's very easy to do, and I think I will do this in future, and I will increase more this table for my use to understand when I'm paying for one unit, if I'm paying a lot of points or not. And that's just to finalize another thing that I want to share with you. When we see tactical squad, or when we look, for example, the Imperial Guard. So we see the Imperial Guard is costing 20-something euros. So this means that each miniature is costing only 2 euros and something. Tactical Marines is costing 35 euros. Each miniature is costing you 3.5 euros. If you compare this to third parties, you will see what you pay per miniature is much higher than 2 or 3 euros most of the times. It's more around 5 euros. I'm realizing this because sometimes I want to do units, for example, using Reaper miniatures or using other companies. Usually if you want to do 10 of them, you go very fast to a round of 50 euros instead of 30 that is costing a unit in 40k. Just some thoughts, some shares, and I just want to break some myths. So that's all what I want to share in that video. I hope you find it useful. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you.